Oh yeah, baby. Another Lacoste white. That's just what everybody needed. All right. Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope that you're doing well. It's time for another first impression unboxing video. This time, Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche. This is the newest in the Lacoste L1212 line, and it's yet another flanker in their Blanc or white subset of the L1212 line. I've talked about this before, but there are other fragrances in the L1212 line. It's just apparently they don't work as well because there's been a lot of flankers over the years. This one's the Energized edition. We've got the Eau de Parfum, and then we've got this beauty right here, this limited edition. What was this even called? And then there are a couple of other like art-based limited editions of white that came out. So I mean, they've really hammered this one. And now we've got a new one, Eau Fraiche. So let's open this up, let's check it out, see how it smells. Now, note breakdown wise, when you take a look at this, it looks like a blue fragrance style of scent. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. It's got ginger and citrus in the opening, grapefruit and lemon being the citrus notes. It's got apple in the mid, along with juniper and lavender. So a lot of very fresh notes. And then in the base, some ambroxan, some cedar wood, and vetiver. So it seems like what we're in for here is probably a summertime sport scent with a blue twist. That's what I'm expecting. Go ahead and open it up. Let's see if that's what it is. So this one I bought from Macy's. It was $83 and they shipped it out super fast. So I placed this order like the afternoon and it was there the next afternoon. So 24 hours. And I don't live in a major city. There's no Macy's nearby me, so it was pretty sick to get it that fast. All right, let's take a look at the presentation here. You got the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size and concentration on the front. You've got this little, almost like mint green stripe that runs down the front of the box. On the top, you have the name of the house, once again, in that stripe, a continuation of it. On this side, a little QR code. Nothing on the other side. On the back, you've got the typical L1212 information, where they let you know that it means a polo. It's a L1212 polo. It's a good polo. Then on the bottom, you've got your badge code, your barcode, your ingredients, and the badge code here is 1228. And here is the bottle. I like it. It's nice looking. It's see-through now, so quite different than the others in the L1212 line, but it carries over that texture feel on the back, which would normally be on the sides of the bottles. Got the name of the house on top of the cap. You've got the little crocodile right there on the front. And then on the bottom, sticker with your badge code. Cap feels super cheap. It weighs nothing and clicks into place. All right, moment of truth. Let's go ahead and spray on L1212 Eau Fraiche, which had perfect release timing, coming out at the beginning of January, and it is snowing outside as I film this. It's pretty much exactly like I expected. Really fresh, clean, slightly sweet, not too sweet. Ooh, nice little tart touch from the grapefruit. Not anywhere near as much as you'll find in Light Blue Forever, but a nice little hint. It's nothing crazy complex or, overly new, but it's pretty much exactly what you would expect from a Lacoste fragrance with ginger and citrus and a little hint of apple underneath. There's a little hint of aromatics in there, not too much, just this little light green kind of edge to the scent. It smells really pleasant. Yeah, I like this. This is nice. It's, again, just kind of a simple, easy, uplifting kind of fragrance. Doesn't come across too chemically synthetic, so that's good. Not a hyper-realistic citrus per se, but it's a nice balance. It's not overly sweet. It's not got that bubble gummy kind of synthetic sweetness that you sometimes find in citrus and designer fragrances, but it doesn't go so far onto the realistic side that it could turn some people off, because sometimes people don't want a hyper realistic citrus because they'll smell it and go, ooh, it's too rindy or whatever. This is a nice balance between the two. I also appreciate that at full retail, it's less expensive than most designer fragrances coming out nowadays. $83 is not cheap, but it's cheaper than you would find a lot of other releases. So that's also positive. And this being a Lacoste, it should hit discounters in the not too distant future and probably will be discounted quite heavily. I would guess $40 or less when it hits. And at that price, I think this is a super solid summertime scent, at least based off first impressions. You also get this faint woodiness underneath everything, but you know, I've not had this on very long, so I imagine that's gonna come out more as the fragrance dries down. And for now, I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna check in with the wife, see what she thinks like always, and then come back and wrap up and let you guys know how it changed as it sat on my skin. But so far, it's what I expected, and it's done well. So thumbs up Lacoste so far. Through the magic of editing, I'm back. So I had my wife check it out. She really liked it, actually. Gave it 2 big thumbs up. So that's a positive. Unless you don't like people liking what you wear, then it's negative. As L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche hits the mid, it's moderately sweet. So some of that sweetness from the citrus and then the apple especially carries over into the mid. And you have this nice green facet that comes out more as it works through the mid. And the way that sweetness came across to me was pretty nice. It would kind of waft in and you pick it up a little bit on top of everything and you go, oh, that's nice. And then it would fade back down again. As I said, it has moderate sweetness through the mid. So it's not a fragrance that's completely devoid of sweetness. If that's what you're looking for, this isn't it. It does have a decent amount, but I think that it's balanced out pretty well. As you hit the dry down, vetiver comes out. It's a clean vetiver, maybe slightly dry, sits underneath everything else. It's not really a prominent or dominant note, but you can definitely pick it up. And for me, I'd say the vetiver is the most noticeable note in the base of the fragrance as it dries down. Sure, a little bit of that ambroxany feel, but mainly just a nice, clean vetiver. Now, I can't tell you guys about performance. Like I say every time with first impressions, it's really hard to nail down, it projects this far and it lasts this long and it cuts through the cold or it doesn't cut through the cold or whatever. But I can give you my general observations, we'll say. So in terms of longevity projection, it actually seems right in line with what I would consider average. And I'll take that because this is a fragrance with Eau Fraiche in the name. It's an Eau de Toilette concentration. It's not actually an Eau Fraiche concentration, but with Eau Fraiche flankers, typically you're not really expecting big time performance. In terms of seasons, spring, summer, and more of a daytime fragrance, none of that is really a surprise. I will say though that it does have some of that blue fragrance versatility. At the beginning of the video, I talked about how this has ginger and citrus and lavender and vetiver and juniper and all these notes that are typically used together in fragrances that are made just to be as mass appealing as possible. Blue fragrances a lot of times. And while this maybe does lean more into that Lacoste style of fragrance, which is more of a casual, sporty type of scent, it does have more versatility than you might expect. What I mean by that is just that you could pull this off just as easily as you could pull off things like Versace Dylan Blue. Overall, gotta say, really like it. More than I expected, actually. I went into this expecting it to be, a nice and wearable scent, but I also thought it was gonna have a potentially chemically kind of edge, like this cheapness that really kind of downgraded it. But surprisingly, it's pulled off really well and it smells very nice. I like that little bit of vetiver. I'm a big fan of that. I also really like how the fragrance has that freshness, that sweetness, that aromatic edge, all balanced and all contrasting and working together. It keeps everything on track. It never feels like it's too youthful, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's dated. It's just really well put together. If you were going to think of an L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche fragrance and how they could pull it off successfully, this is probably about as good as it could get. Because again, when we're talking Lacoste, once this hits discounters, it's gonna be probably $40 or under. I mean, maybe initially it might be you know, slightly above 40, but it's gonna dip down. All you have to do is go check the Lacoste entire line, the entire brand at discounters, and see what they go for, and you can kind of figure out where this one's gonna end up. And once it does hit those lower prices, this is going to be a really solid pickup in my opinion. Even at $83, which is what I paid for it, I don't regret it. I think it's really well pulled off. Lacoste did a good job this time. The only question could be with additional wearing if that performance doesn't hold up. But right now on this first wearing, seems fine. So there we go, Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche, better than I expected. Really nice, and it's a good addition to the line actually. As I showed you with some of these other flankers, they've kind of hammered L1212 Blanc to death, and yeah, I wasn't maybe super ultra pumped that it was announced, but having it here in my hand and smelling it, it's good. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. If you smelled this one, let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you think about the line in general, maybe the L1212 line in general, not just white. As always, thanks for hanging with me, guys. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.